Alright. The first speaker for today, and there is no volunteering, I'll call out. So be prepared. Please welcome the one who is prepared the most, Vinod. Time is 4 to 6 minutes. Take the cards. Starts now.
Hello all, my name is Vinod. When we were kids, we used to play a lot of games along with our friends. We used to play hide and seek, cricket, or lagodi, kings, many other games. Those were the time pass when we were children. Once when we crossed the age of 16 or 18, we cannot play those same old games. We can play cricket, football and hockey and many other games, but not the hide and seek or robber and police. That is not the game for us. Years passed. Once when you cross 18, you can't play those same old games. In 2007, I was 20 years old. My father, he gave money to go buy a computer. My friends and I went to SP Road and bought a new computer. It was a very joyful moment. We loved the system, we loved installing the speakers and many other things. I thought computer was only to watch movies or play games or listen to music. 2-3 months down the line, I met my friend down the street. He had a DVD in his hand, and the DVD was a game. I didn't know what the game was. When I met him, I asked him, what is this? He thought this is a game. My friend gave it to me. I thought this is a good game. Fine, I took the game, and I went home and installed the game. The game was called Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Little did I know that this game would change my life. At first when I installed the game, I didn't know how to play it. I just cruised around the city and was just roaming around. Didn't do much. I didn't even know how to get inside a car while playing the game. Soon while playing, weeks later, I learned how to play. I learned how to ride a car. I learned how to ride a bike. I learned how to jump from buildings in the game. There were many missions in the game which we had to complete, which I did. At the beginning it was difficult. Then later when I got the hang of the game, it was good. I got addicted to the game and I kept playing it every single day after my college. Later I became very famous in my friend circle regarding the game. Whoever talked about any game used to always tell my name. He knows to play much better. He is much good in playing these games. And any person who wants any game DVD used to come to my house and used to ask for the game. New small kids used to come and ask me, please give me a game so and so that I can install and play. Some didn't know how to install, but still they used to give me a call and ask me how should I install this game so that I can continue playing it. I later then became the master of GTA San Andreas. Any mission, anything, any mission which you want to play, I could do it at least, and I could guide others too. That was the GTA San Andreas. Later I started digging into the GTA history. They had many previous games which was GTA Vice City, GTA 3, GTA 2. I bought the old games again. I installed GTA Vice City. I played all the games. I used to play these games without cheat codes because I believe if you put cheat codes, the game's value would go down. And it wouldn't be a much better gamer if you use cheat codes because anybody can use cheat codes and play the games. The real effort is without putting cheat codes. I played GTA Vice City, the previous game of GTA San Andreas. The graphics was much lesser compared to GTA San Andreas because it's a much older game which had come out in 2004. Then in 2002 a game had come called GTA 3 which was in 2002. The graphics was even more lesser, but it had a nice story. The city was good. The city was called Liberty City. I played even that game. In 2009, I just saw a trailer on YouTube saying a new game would be releasing of GTA called GTA 4. I was very excited. This is a new game which is going to come. The trailers were even awesome. The graphics was good. Everything was good. There were new missions, new cars, new people. There were new aeroplanes in the game. At first I was waiting for the game, I was watching all the trailers. Months later the game released. We as Indians, we don't buy the original game. Rockstar Games, the game of the GTA, the owners of the GTA, had made a software in the game. If you install the pirated version, the game would not play. I still went to a CD shop, bought the pirated DVD, installed the game. No matter what you do, the game would not play. Later I came to know GTA because India has a huge market for gaming industry. Only GTA had left 500 rupees for the game. Because India has a huge market industry and many people, if price less, would obviously buy the game. If it's priced more, they wouldn't buy it. When it was 500 rupees, I went to the CD shop, paid the money, bought the original DVD, installed the game, and the game was playing wonderful. I finished the game within 30 days, within 1 month. I think I was the only person who finished it in my friend circle in 30 days because I had the hang of GTA. I knew how to play, I knew what is next, I knew how to survive, and I finished it within 30 days. Soon later, even my friend told me, who was a girl, even she got interested in this game, and she went to a shop and she bought the game for herself. And the shopkeeper told her, "You're the only girl, first girl who I saw to buy this game." And she was happy regarding it too. Then the game got over, that was in 2009. 3 months ago in November, I once again saw a trailer in YouTube saying there's a new game coming out, GTA 5. And the graphics are even more great, the missions are even more awesome, which I still haven't played it, but I'm still waiting for it. It's going to be released for the PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 3, and the PS3 too. Since I don't have the gaming consoles, I would buy it for the PC itself. And even this time, I hope the game owners would make it the same price, which was 500 rupees for the Indian market and not more. So I say to all you, if all you guys are bored or don't have anything to do, please install this game, GTA, which is Grand Theft Auto, and I hope you will all have a good time. Thank you.
So now we know more about GTA. At least I know the full form. Grand Theft Auto. Right? So one more round of applause for Vinod. The next speaker will be Mr. S.M. Prasad.
Green is 4, yellow is 5, red is 6.
You will get to see green color at 4 minutes, amber or yellow at 5, and red at 6. Once you see 6, see the red color, 30 seconds to close.
A long time ago, it was my first ever visit to a nearby police station for completion of the verification process of my passport application. After completing all the necessary formalities, the concerned police official extended his arms towards me, which was literally, towards me, which I apparently presumed it to be a handshake gesture. However, I was literally shocked to notice that he was demanding a bribe in return. I was forced to budge to his demand. Good afternoon, my dear coach and fellow speakers. This incident was the first traced with corruption in my life, after which there have been several such occasions wherein I had to budge again and again, however involuntarily, to the demands of the people serving in various capacities at various public offices to merely get my jobs done. My talk today is on corruption. Corruption, also termed bribery, in general means any kind of dishonest dealings between at least two people. In India, at least we find corruption having penetrated in almost all walks of life, and I'm very sure that every one of us here in this room has been a victim to it at some point of time in your lives while dealing with public offices and other institutions. Starting from a baby born in a hospital, where its parents, in most cases, need to bribe the hospital authorities in order to take the right and legitimate little one of their own safely back home, and subsequently at almost every stage of growth and development this baby undergoes during its course of life on this planet, its parents or itself need to become a victim or a part and parcel of this evil in our society. It may surprise you all to hear that the living members of a mourning family once again is a victim of corruption during the process of carrying out the last rites of their dear ones. Thus, we can see that corruption plays a significant role in the modern society right from the time of birth until the death of an individual. In recent times, the government has implemented several anti-corruption measures in the form of Right to Information Act and Lok Ayuktha system in order to curb corruption to the maximum extent possible. However, these measures are just a beginning of a long journey against the fight for eradication of corruption in the society. In conclusion, I personally feel that corruption is a dreadful and contagious disease that has already in a big way conquered the lives of many of us in the world, even at the grassroots levels, thereby heralding a slow and steady destruction of a supposedly developing and forward-looking society like ours. It's high time that we all put our efforts together in order to absolutely eradicate this present-day most dreadful and contagious disease of corruption from our society forever. Thanking you all.
So that was Anna Hazare speaking, right? I request Dilip to take over the timer store and show the cards. So the next speaker is going to be Prasad Kumar. 4 to 6 minutes.
It's probably difficult because I am going to
Evaluate. Okay, then Atul can take. Are the evaluators comfortable? Are you making notes? And as the others are speaking, you can write down clearly what you want to talk about the speech. Right? Write down your own sentences, what you are going to say, so that when you come here, it will be very easy and flow will be there. Okay. So let's welcome Kumar.
How many of us have come here prepared to speak? I think most of us have come here to prepare to speak. But how much time are we all given to speak? I think hardly we will be given about a few minutes to speak. For a few minutes of speaking, we are all prepared so much. But I think most of the remaining time which we are going to spend here, we are going to spend on listening. But for this listening, I think we take it naturally, that listening happens naturally and we don't do any preparation. Mr. Coach and fellow speakers, good evening. I know that we take listening as a bit tough, whereas hearing is quite hard. This I want to narrate to an incident which happened just last week. Last week, after the session was over, I asked one of the participants whether he was working for the X organization. The participant told that, no, I have left the X organization and I am working for a Y organization. Then I was just wondering, how could I miss that? I knew that I was not listening properly. Had I listened properly, I would have definitely known that I could have avoided that particular embarrassment which was happening there. So I thought I will just go delve a little bit into the details of listening. So I went in search of some information on listening. So I went to the International Listening Association website. There I got some data that on an average, when people listen, that is immediately after a speech is over, if we ask the people or a conversation is over, if we ask the people how much percentage of it they have retained, it is hardly about 50%. It's a bit surprising. And only 50% of what we hear that we are able to retain immediately. And over a long term, the statistics says that we will be retaining only 20% of what has been said. So I thought, let me go into what are the problems which are associated, or what are the barriers which is coming in the way of us listening better. So there are many barriers, but I thought I will just highlight 3 of them. The first barrier is with respect to our physiological condition, that is our brain. On an average, a person speaks at the rate of 150 to 250 words per minute, but the brain can process about 4 times that information. So what is happening is we have got a lot of time gap between the words. That is where the fluctuation takes place and the concentration fluctuates. So secondly, it is about attitudes. We see in the media that whenever a debate, TV debate or something goes on, the anchor particularly has a tendency to ask questions for which they want their particular answers, and they want to believe what they want to believe, they want to listen to what they want to listen, not to the actually what the other person is saying. So this attitudinal problem is also one of the reasons. Thirdly, coming to, we have got a lot of curriculum with regard to reading, writing, and the other skill of speaking in schools. But whereas listening is not given that much of importance. In a study conducted in USA, it has been found that we spend about 70%, that is among the US white collar workers, about 70% of the time is spent on communication. Out of this 70% of the time, 9% is spent on writing, and 16% of the time is spent on reading, and the balance 30%, the 30% of the time is spent on speaking, and the majority, that is 45%. If you take these 3 things cover 75%, if you see the balance, these 3 things cover 55%, if you see the balance 45%, it is taken up by listening. But whereas our curriculum, there is nothing to develop this listening skill. So this is not given much of importance. Then I thought I'll just come to the solutions about how to overcome. So there are many things, but I just thought I'll explain, elaborate, listen, using listen as an acronym. I will just try to give some tips of a better listening. Take L. L is look at the eye of the speaker or somebody you get some more messages. And then I is inquire. Inquire so that you get more details, pose more questions, and try to be clear on that. Yes, S is for summarize. Summarize in the sense what the speaker has told, just tell him back to him, paraphrase back to him, and find out, is this what he meant? Then T is take notes. If it is a public speaking kind of thing, you can take notes. Otherwise, it's a conversation, you can have a mind map about what is happening. So, LISTE, E is encouraged. Encouraged by smiling, nodding, and then using some words like aha and all those things. Encourage that. And when we come to N is for neutralization. That is, we may have some emotions, or sometimes the person may not be delivering properly. Just cut down on all those things and just see about the content. Mainly focus on the content. So I think these are some of the tips which I'd like to share. Another thing is listen and silent. The word. Sometimes they contain the same words. LISPEN and SILENT. These two are somehow related. So silence is good for listening. Another, I think all of us, as I have seen, are very good listeners. I think we can become better listeners. I have created an awareness. There are more details, more wealth of information available on it. I think we can go to the relevant information channel websites, books on all this listening, and then become better listeners. I conclude with a quote from one of the management experts, Harvey Mackay. He told that you earn when you listen, you learn when you listen. Not just money, but respect. Thank you for patient listening. Over to you.
That was a major exercise, a very good lecture on listening within 5 minutes. So, one more round of applause. So, the next person will be, let's call Atul Kumar.
Good afternoon, coach and my dear friends. Most of you are from Bangalore, I think so. And I want to touch the topic of environment. Last 10 years, the Bangalore was not like today's Bangalore, which is very polluted, very traffic jam situations are there. And the temperature also has gone up compared to last 10 years to this 2012. So my topic for today's session is environment consciousness, and which we can bring to our commuting efforts, which is alternate source for the petrol engine vehicles, which is electric cars. First electric car was made in 1890 in US, but that time the focus to the electric cars was not too much as compared to the engine vehicles. So the idea was brought by the people who were very conscious about the environment. The second generation, in 1927, another attempt was made to commercialize electric vehicles. But again, the US was into most of the times in petrol engine vehicles, sale was moving up. So the concentration by the research team was not so much because of non-viability for electric vehicles. In 1970s, you would have seen that in US, in Japan, in European countries, basically in European Germans, are more into the commercialization of petrol engine vehicles with different variants, different styling, different engine concept. Again, the focus was not there. In late 1990s, the consciousness about the environment, about the pollution was there, and people started thinking of making some alternate solutions to petrol engine vehicles. The first Indian vehicle was made in 1996 by Mr. Chetan Maini, who is from Maini Group, and it was in association with one of the US companies which were his colleagues during his studies in US, and they formed the first prototype in 1996. The first commercial, after the prototype is built, it was showcased to the 9 major cities. Around 3,000 people have given their feedbacks about the electric vehicles, and the first reaction was wow, because they were very conscious about the environment and the pollution and even the concept by an Indian. So they thought of making this vehicle as a commercial vehicle, and they started demanding as a market people to get the vehicle as a sellable product. 2000 was the year when the first vehicle was sold out from Bangalore, and it is very tiny vehicle, and it is having a sitting capacity of 2 adults and 2 kids, and it has features like all safety features, and it runs 80 kilometers per speed at the top speed of 80. The other benefits of this electric vehicle is that it is very easy to drive, non-polluting, no noise, and especially the customer base is ladies and senior citizens because of the easy to drive and easy to come out of the roads in traffic conditions. So today Deva has a presence all over the world, mainly in European countries where the Europeans are very much conscious about the environment, and the government has given subsidy for the consumers who buys electric vehicles in the Norway and completely in England. In Britain we have, London we have 1,000 vehicles. In Bangalore we have 1,000 vehicles, more than 1,000 vehicles. So in India the first consciousness was observed in Delhi as a state government by Sheila Dixit. And Sheila Dixit has announced 30% subsidy for electric vehicles. The consumer can get almost 1 lakh benefit from the price which normally the car is getting sold. So the battery operated car is having its own limitation also to some extent, because market doesn't accept that 2-seater adult seater capacity, and they wanted to have a bigger vehicle which can be called as a complete car. So the survey was conducted from all over the world with 24-25 operational dealers from the Norway, UK, France, Germany and everywhere. And they have come out with a solution that market is demanding, and they want this vehicle as a second car, because for day-to-day life they don't want to have a bigger car for day-to-day commuting. So people wanted to have a smaller car which can be cost effective and easy to drive and non-polluting. So people come out with solution, and we have designed a product which will be hitting the market in next by end of this year, and it is complete car in all respect. It meets all the safety standards of European regulations and Indian regulations. It has a bigger size, mileage as compared to the existing car, and it was showcased in last auto show. We were there, and people have given good feedback about the product, and they are excited to see that how the product will come out and the benefits what they will get from the product. And personally I feel it is very cost effective because the operating cost is very low, and if you compare 1 liter petrol is around 75 plus now, and if you run same vehicle it will be less than 10 rupees per day. That is the difference what we can see. And the petrol prices are getting up and up by day by day. When I came to Bangalore it was around 45 rupees, now it has gone to 75 rupees. Definitely each individual will be thinking of their pocket money and day-to-day expenses because of petrol price hike. And I am sure everybody will be hoping for this, and they will continue for their support and their consciousness, their efforts towards